Is Israel losing the war against Muslim opponents? Yes. It might not seem like it to a lot of people. They are bombing left, right and center, laying waste to entire cities and suburbs. Perhaps their greatest achievement is their killing of key Hamas and Hezbollah leaderships. Other than that though, they are fighting a lost cause. Every kind of military strategy Netanyahu has promoted, he claimed, if we just do this, the end of the war is just weeks away. He's been making these claims from earlier than February 2024. Yet 1 year on, Hamas is still there. Hezbollah is still there. The Yemenis are still there. The hostages are still not recovered. Meanwhile, the shekel's purchasing power has tanked, the economy is getting hammered due to sky-high military spending and civilian labor shortages, and worst of all, public opinion has shifted decisively and rather permanently away from their favor. More countries have recognized Palestine while more countries have begun to question their recognition of Israel. Public opinion might seem irrelevant to many, since the West is largely controlled by a few oligarchs who've bought off most of the politicians. The majority Western public can often be seen as rather weak and irrelevant, relegated to simply marching on the street and making themselves a nuisance. In the long term, however, the discontented public is going to make life for oligarchs a lot more expensive and less rewarding as the purchasing power of Western currencies erodes. Eventually they'll be viewed with as much disdain as the Tsars of Russia in the end. They can hold out for quite a long time, but the longer they choose to hold out, the more savage and ruthless will be their end. Apart from the belligerents, Muslim economies are not highly affected by this war. Normalization strategies between Israel and the Arab world is pretty much in the toilet now, no matter what puppet politicians say. The Gulf kings might bore themselves to the Zionists as much as possible now, but with the sheer opposition of the masses, it will not translate to any tangible trade and business operation. No one's going to be flying to Israel for a holiday no matter how many flights they open, and workers will frustrate trade to the point of non-competitiveness. Majority of the Muslim world are joining new trading blocs and increasing trade, especially with rising Brink states. Israel, on the other hand, will be walking into a very lonely future, ever more dependent on the US, much like how North Korea is to China. People can preach about whatever Islamophobia they want, but in the end, there are 1.8 billion Muslims in the world, close to a quarter of the world. Muslim-majority countries control 29 million square kilometers of land and its resources. Against this, the world is not going to endlessly support a warmongering nation of 5 million people controlling 22,000 square kilometers. Even those who love wealth and money cannot endlessly undermine such a huge market for the sake of such a tiny one.